YouTube, Niner Empire, what is going down? Welcome back to another video. Pretty interesting story for today's video. John Lynch actually passed on a broadcasting job and a pay raise to remain with the 49ers. Now, in February, it was reported that the 49ers general manager John Lynch was offered about 3 times his current salary to leave his front office job and return to the broadcast booth. As you guys know, the 49ers, lured John Lynch into San Francisco when he worked for Fox. Now, he did that for a very long time. Comes to the 49ers when Shanahan does back in 2017. And obviously, he's been our GM ever since, and they were both rewarded multi-year deals. I believe it was like a 6-year deal for both of them. And I'm sure, if I can remember right, those deals have been reworked for even more years. Not a lot more, but they're probably on like 8-year deals now. Whatever that may be, I'd have to look into that. But either way, I do know when they initially came to the 49ers, they were offered multi-year deals. But either way, pretty much it's being reported that Amazon were the ones that offered him this massive deal to return to the broadcast booth. Now, the kind of offer they were offering would come in at around estimated $15 million annually, which is pretty. That's a lot of money. That's almost like a contract for a player. But John Lynch, remains in San Francisco, and he's not going to be taking that broadcasting job, which is good to know. I mean, he also addressed the rumors that he was contemplating a return to broadcasting. He stick to his word, though. He said from time to time opportunities are presented, and I can tell you and tell everyone that my commitment right now is to this organization. He mentioned, we're just coming off of a season, but my commitment is to the 49ers, the York family, to Kyle. So that's good to know that he's remaining loyal, especially after getting a deal 3 times as large as his current deal. He also mentioned, standing up in front of the team yesterday and just getting an opportunity to reflect on what we have. I do think we have something special, and we are here to win championships. So my commitment is right here, and that's where I'll be. And he said this, as soon as the 49ers lost in the NFC Championship game to the LA Rams. I don't think that us losing in the NFC Championship didn't have anything to do with him staying in San Francisco. In other words, I think it significantly impacted John Lynch's decision to pass on the new job and the pay raise. And he even brought it up last week in the Dwight Clark Legacy Series event. He said, really, I think the moment for me after we lost the NFC Championship game, Kyle asked me to address the team, and that's when the clarity really came to me. I wasn't going to address it until after the season, but I looked at myself and I said, how do I sit up here and address these guys and talk about having the fortitude to fight through the pain of losing a game like this and then turn around and bolt on them? He then went on to say, I couldn't do it. I knew right then what I was going to do, and I'm happy to be a part of the Niners. So look, I mean, it's John Lynch is loyal, right? I mean, he could have easily turned down this 49ers, or turned down, the 49ers, left them after, a Super Bowl loss and an NFC Championship loss, and went to the broadcasting booth. But here's the thing. John Lynch was hired by Kyle Shanahan in 2017. Kyle Shanahan, John Lynch, they all have ties when it comes to Mike Shanahan. Obviously, Kyle being his son, John Lynch played for Mike Shanahan in Denver. There's familiarity there. Kyle Shanahan, though, was hired initially first in 2017, and then that's when, Jed York said, look, we're going to give you the rights to hire what general manager you want. Because a lot of times nowadays, especially, years ago, probably 10, anywhere from about 7 to 10 years ago, there would always be, when it came to head coaches breaking up with their respected teams, it always came down to the relationship between the GM and the head coach. And that's really what did it with John Harbaugh and Trent Baalke. Trent Baalke didn't think Jim Harbaugh should stay, although Jim Harbaugh gave them arguably the best 3 to 4 years of football they had had in a very, very long time. But Kyle Shanahan hires John Lynch, and if you guys have noticed, there's never really been any storylines about John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan not being on the same page, other than people saying that John Lynch wanted Trey Lance, but Kyle Shanahan wanted Mac Jones and all that stuff. But that stuff's that's past, right? And I think Kyle Shanahan did want Trey Lance. I don't think that Kyle Shanahan didn't want Trey Lance. I'm sure it was an organizational agreement, and they came to an agreement that Trey Lance would have been the guy, and I'm happy they took Trey Lance because I don't think there's anybody else in that draft class that I would have taken at the number 3 overall pick other than Trey Lance. So they definitely got it right for that. And I'm saying this even before Trey Lance takes over this team. They made the right decision drafting Trey Lance, bottom line. Either way, though, what I'm trying to say is there's never really any storylines that basically are formed from John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan having, a bad relationship or there's something in the relationship that's not working. Kyle Shanahan hired him for a reason. Now, obviously, Jed York, was also involved in that hiring. I mean, he's the 49ers owner, but Jed York gave Kyle that right to hire whoever he wanted, and he felt as if John Lynch would have been the perfect fit, and I'm happy he did pick John Lynch. The 49ers really have one of the best head coaches and GMs in football. When it just comes to how they built the team, how they turned the organization around and started winning, yeah, we've lost big games. We've lost NFC Championship games. We've lost a Super Bowl. But at the end of the day, I wish we could have won, the Super Bowl against the Chiefs. I wish we could have beat the Rams last year in the NFC Championship. We'd have probably been Super Bowl champions. No disrespect to the Bengals. That would have been a hell of a game. But you guys get the point. I mean, we've lost big games, but at the end of the day, they're the reason we are in these big games. The way they've drafted, the way they've built the team from how it was in 2017 after Kyle Shanahan took over Chip Kelly's team, that right there it's really been John Lynch and Shanahan as the reason we are winning. They built the team right, and we're literally one game away every year, it seems like. And you have to go through those losses and those big game losses to understand what it feels like. And you go through them, and it makes you a better team. I think everybody kind of agrees with me on that. Sooner or later, when the 49ers get to that big game, I'm going to say the next NFC Championship game they get to or Super Bowl, they're going to win it. I mean, they're due for a win. They've lost 2 Super Bowls now. The past 2 they've lost, right? So I genuinely think the next NFC Championship game or the next Super Bowl they get to, I do think they'll get over the hump. But either way, I think, John Lynch passing on this broadcasting job speaks volumes about what he thinks about this 49ers team and how he wants to move forward, I guess, in a way. He's loyal. I mean, getting offered 3 times the more, or 3 times the current contract you're on to become, to go back into the broadcasting booth. Like I said, I think it speaks volumes, and I think it shows really how much John Lynch loves this team, respects Kyle, respects the organization, and wants to get over that hump and lead the 49ers to their 6th Super Bowl win. So it's interesting. I mean, this is all interesting stuff. I knew initially, now that I think about this report, I do remember it initially coming out that John Lynch could leave the 49ers, but in my opinion, I don't think that was ever a chance that he was going to leave. I think that obviously there were going to be offers when it came to him being back in, or him getting back into the broadcasting booth and whatnot. But I never really there was never really a time that I sat there and thought, shit, we may lose John Lynch, because I never really thought John Lynch would be that type of guy, especially after building the team as much as he has. And I'm not saying just him. I mean, Kyle's been a part of that. Parag Marate, Adam Peters, those guys have really built the team from the bottom to the top. And I think knowing that John Lynch probably thought, I built this team. We're literally a game away from being in a Super Bowl, from winning a Super Bowl. I can't give up. There's no point in giving up now. So I never really expected John Lynch to leave. There was never really a time where I thought, shit, he may leave us. But at the end of the day, like I said, I think it comes down to how much he means to the team, how much he loves the team, how much he loves the organization as a whole. And obviously knowing that, he comes one game away from being a world championship pretty much every year. I mean, yeah, we weren't NFC champions, but we get to that Super Bowl. I'm pretty confident that the 49ers could have beat the Bengals. So I think he's aware of that. I think he knows that. I think he knows that, the Niners are one game away, and I'm sure that probably went into why he didn't accept that job with Amazon, going back to the broadcasting booth. So pretty interesting stuff here. But yeah, John Lynch turns down. It's being reported that John Lynch turned down Amazon broadcasting job that would have paid him $15 million annually. Like I said, which is 3 times the money what he's getting now from being the Niners GM.